want to talk a little bit more about Hillary Clinton. And again, I've been hard on Hillary Clinton, not unfairly, I believe. And we talked last week about excerpts from her new book, What Happened. And I said she seems to have a total lack of understanding about the Bernie movement, a lot of blame game stuff going on, people slamming me, saying I'm not being fair, I'm a Bernie bot, blah, blah, blah. I did vote for Hillary Clinton, right? And I voted for Hillary Clinton in the general election because I thought she was the best candidate. People said, why didn't you vote for Jill Stein since you were in Massachusetts? I actually believe that Hillary Clinton was a better choice than Jill Stein in the net. But I'm not interested in, let me put it a different way. I'm mostly interested in analyzing arguments and assertions. And some of these came in the form of Hillary Clinton's first major interview since her election loss, which was yesterday on CBS Sunday Morning. And she was asked, well, what mistakes did you make? What is to blame for your election loss? And as far as mistakes go, she said straight up, using personal email was a major mistake. She also sort of seemed, with less direct language, to say she didn't realize, I'm paraphrasing, this was my impression, that she didn't realize how Donald Trump's rhetoric, even though it seemed so crazy and off-putting, it actually would appeal to a lot of white voters who were still angry about the recession or whatever else. Okay, so she listed some specific mistakes. She also listed other things that she believes influenced why she lost. And I'm going to play that clip for you now, okay? And try to keep account of how many things Hillary Clinton points to here.
I went from, I think, 26 points ahead to 13 points ahead. And I needed about 18 points in order to be sure I could win Pennsylvania. I watched how analysts, who I have a great deal of respect for, like Nate Silver, burrowed into all the data and said, but for that Comey letter, she would have won. So it was very personal to me. I think my general election prospects were so badly damaged because of that, that even though I was starting to come back, it was not enough time to overcome it. But even though that was the primary blow to my campaign at the very end, it has to be looked at in context with the Russians weaponizing information, negative stories about me, this whole WikiLeaks beginning to leak in early October of John Podesta's emails, which if you've read them all, they're pretty anodyne, but they were taken out of context. The stories were made up about them. We now know Facebook was taking money from Russian companies to run negative stories about me. If you look at all of this, yes, it affected me and my campaign, but I am more concerned now going forward that we haven't come to grips with what it means for future elections. I would also add that the voter suppression that we now know had been in the works and really put into effect in a lot of states like Wisconsin, North Carolina, et cetera, played a role. And then let's not forget sexism and misogyny, which are endemic to our society. And certainly, as I write in my chapter called On Being a Woman in Politics, have to be factored in.
Okay, so there was a lot there. Let's put up the list of the reasons Hillary Clinton cited for why she lost. And I bear with me because you need nuance to think about this, okay? Hillary Clinton stated in that 1 minute and 58-second clip, she lost because the James Comey letter damaged her. That's true. I agree with that the James Comey letter did damage her. She lost because Russia weaponized negative stories about Hillary Clinton. They did do that, and it probably had some influence. She lost because of WikiLeaks releasing John Podesta's emails. Maybe. I mean, it was very close. Almost anything could have some impact. She lost because Facebook took money from Russian companies for negative stories. She lost because of voter suppression. She lost because of sexism and misogyny endemic to society. She's not wrong, right? I mean, when it's this close, if any one of those most of any of those factors had been different, could have flipped the election. So when she says that, you can take any one of those 6 items and build a case as to why it did make a difference. But that doesn't change that it never should have been this close. It never should have been this close when you're running against Donald Trump. There should have been some better approach from the beginning to actually being progressive. Hillary Clinton was not particularly likable. She could have listed, right? If we're playing the game of when it's this close, any one thing could have flipped the election. If she had been 10 points more likable with identical policy positions, same politics, right? Just 10 points more likable, 6 points more likable. We're talking about, what was it, 77,000 votes across 3 states. So it's very difficult to have these conversations because some people say, David, she's just right. She lost because of those things. It was so close. And you're not wrong. At the same time, why was it even this close? And you can look at the DNC. You can look at the fact that a lot of Hillary Clinton's positions seem just forced in order to appeal to whatever she thinks is the winds of polling of the day. So if we're going to play the let's pick one thing, we can do that with things that make Hillary Clinton seem blameless and things that make seem Hillary Clinton be full of blame. But I think that that's the wrong approach, the pick one thing, because it's never one thing.
I just feel like when you lose to the most unpopular presidential candidate of all time, you don't get to pick the reasons why. You don't get to really list those. You have to look inward a little bit more if you're going to, because I mean, you can take some personal responsibility. You could have gone to those states like Wisconsin and Michigan. I mean, you could have. Hillary Clinton lost 53% of white women voters.
Right.
So how can you point to sexism and misogyny? You really can't.
I think that once we say, let's pick one thing and just blame that, anybody can pick whatever they want. And I think you're absolutely right. And to be super clear, I don't actually think that Democrats really need to change, or let me put it a different way. Democrats need to change a lot. Trump's win doesn't really change anything for Democrats. Moving forward, Democratic failures have been similar for a long time. Democrats need to actually be progressive and take principled positions on big issues, including healthcare, like I've been talking about. And I think that everybody will probably find something they disagree with in my analysis of this. But I think the entire way this is being framed in a black and white way is totally disingenuous. Talk about this with me on Reddit, davidpakman.com/REDDIT. Today's episode is made possible in part by ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, you need to know where to post the job to find the best candidates, which can be difficult. Thankfully, with ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to over 100 job sites with one click, and then ZipRecruiter's technology will efficiently match the right people to your job. That is why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds candidates for you. And in fact, over 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter receive a qualified candidate within 24 hours. You don't have to juggle emails, calls to your office. You can screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. And you can find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And my listeners and viewers can post jobs for free on ZipRecruiter. That's right, for free. If you go to ziprecruiter.com/Pakman. That's ziprecruiter.com/PAKMAN. One more time, try it free at ziprecruiter.com/PAKMAN.